Today, the agenda for today's topics are we'll discuss about the kernel and SAP upgrades using the sum tool. So SAP upgrade using the sum tool here. So we'll get questions on these two topics here, right? So kernel. So kernel means normally we know what is meant by kernel here, right? Kernel is the interface between your operating system and also it's a interface between operating system and your SAP application server here. So kernel is so it's a very means it's kind of like heart for SAP application server here, right? So whenever SAP is starting, so always it will read the profiles as well as kernel files, right? Kernel files it will read it here. So here the most of the things normally where we will mistake are normally during the interview point of our time or technical discussions. So always we need to remember is so once the kernel upgrade is done, either so we have the two files, right? SAP exe, SAP exedb. We need to download these files and we have to one is the DB independent, DB dependent file. SAP exedb is the DB dependent files. So normally we know as a consultant, we will do the kernel upgrade, we will replace it, everything is done. But finally, one of the most important thing is like SAP root.sh script here. SAP root.sh script. This one we have to execute it here. So why we have to execute this means to set the required permission necessary permissions groups. So it will do the ICM BND. It will bind the all the binaries to the required permissions here. The required permissions here. The mainly thing is here ICM BND. There is a exe file. There is a exe file. This should be the 4755. That is the permission level. Normally we can just to execute the SAP root.sh script. So this file should be the same permission level here. So in case of ICM BND is the exe file which is not in the correct permission. So what will happen? Sometimes system will start, but your HTTPS port will be so port will not be activated. Port will not be activated. Port will not be activated in case of if you don't set the ICMBND permissions here. This is the one of the important thing we should remember here. Sometimes what happens after the kernel upgrade, everything is okay, system is started. When we go to the SMICM and ICM, so HTTPS service port, it is deactivated. When I'm trying to activate it, won't activate. Why? Because the HTTP ports always refers to the ICM BND permissions level here. So this thing we should remember, we should have to take a note on this one here, right? This is a very important port, and also there is a dependency on this one here, right? Carefully we have to perform the kernel upgrades here, right? So here you need to stop the all the SAP application servers, including everything. You have to stop it here as part of the kernel upgrade. Normally all the procedures, right? We need to stop the all the SAP application servers. Then so once you've done it, including you need to kill the SAP start SRV process as well. For safer side, you need to kill the SAP. Normally when you click on the stop SAP or stop SAP commands, so normally SAP start SRV process, it won't kill, right? So it won't kill. Then in this case, you need to so manually stop it or you need to kill it. Manually stopping means using the SAP control command. We need to do that one. So then you need to apply the latest kernels in the sysexe, which means SAP MMT, the global exe directory, right? Sysexe. So means SAP MMT exe directory here, global. So then that's it. If you have the 10 application servers also, so then no need to do the local. Just to do the sysexe, stop the all the application server, do the replacement on the sysexe. Just do the replacement on the sysexe kernel files. You can do that one. Then after that, so when you are starting the SAP, what will happen in the back end? There is a SAP CPE utility program. Utility program will copy the files from so the global exe directory to the local exe so directories here. So why? Because if you have the 10 application servers or many application servers, you no need to do it in all the application servers, not required. Just so you do it in the your sysexe global in the global directory, automatically this utility program will copy it here. So this is one of the important thing if you need to remember while doing the kernel upgrade here. So there is a chance to ask so some scenario based questions here. You have the 5 application servers. Then in this case, will you do the kernel upgrade in the all the application servers? Like that, they may ask you the question. So it's not required. This utility program will copy the files. When it will copy the files means when you are starting the SAP on the remaining app servers. So that time it will copy the files. That time it will copy the files here, right? So this is the one of the important thing you need to remember. Okay, this is one of the important thing you should remember about the utility programs here, right? So that is the one thing you should consider as part of the kernel. Only 2 3 important points as part of the procedure everybody can do. The only thing is the issues like so if you don't perform correctly, so then what is happening in the back end means this is the frequently when I attended multiple interviews for the so these are the common questions we may get from the as part of the kernel upgrade procedure. They will ask us to explain it. Then they can ask to questions. So then we may have to
Kavita, your voice is breaking in. I don't know if it is for me or everyone.
uh, is it
No,
everybody?
it's clear for me.
Oh, okay.
Okay, maybe my side. Thank you.
Yeah. Later, I think you can just drop out. You can log in back, Santosh.
Yeah, sure. Thank you.
Yeah, try that one. Let's see. Okay, so this is the thing you need to remember as part of the kernels, right? So let's go to the SAP upgrade topic here. So SAP upgrade topics. So using the sum tool here, SAP upgrades using the sum tool here. This is one of the important thing. You may get the lot of questions is in the SAP upgrade topic here. You may get the lot of questions on the SAP upgrades only. Why? Because remaining topics and all very small. I think you guys are well enough on that one, right? Client copies, profile parameter changes. So these all are so we discussed small things we discussed, right? So suppose if I talk about the L3 level or L4 level, so these are the main upgrade level SAP upgrades. So these are the main important thing. So we have to so consider here SAP upgrades using the sum tool here. Some tool here. So some phases. You mean to say some phases here, SAP upgrades. So here the main thing is here as part of the sum tool. The first of all, so yeah. Before that, I will explain about upgrades, right? SAP upgrades or SAP patching or SPS upgrade. We will use the sum tool here, right? Sum tool we will use it here. But here so for any 1 or 2 components, no, we can do it with the so normal spam or saint transaction codes. We will do it there. But here, normally when you are starting the sum tool is the very important thing here. How will you start and what issues we may face it if you don't follow the order regarding the sum upgrades here, right? The sum starting normally as part of the preparation activities. So we know there is a procedure to follow the prerequisite down stack.xml file download stack configuration file and also we need to download all the patches and also as part of the pre-steps I am talking is something sometimes they may ask you the pre-steps. So here the main thing is here our system our SAP system should be up to date in the service marketplace. So why? Because to calculate the XML file, our system should be up to date here. In case of system is not up to date, what we have to do? We need to go to the so in the system like suppose like ECC, then there is a RZ70 transaction code. Then we can push the data to the Solman SLD2, then the Solman LMDB. This is the navigation. Sometimes they may ask you. Then here too, then service marketplace, then maintenance planner, then there the explore systems. It will go to the explore systems tab. So sometimes they may ask you, can you tell me, so the procedure, suppose your system is not up to date. System is not up to date in the service marketplace. In this case, what you will do? So in case of system is not up to date in the service marketplace, so what is the next step here you need to follow? What is the next step you need to follow it here? So in this case, if the system is not up to date in the service marketplace, so definitely we need to push the data solution manager. So from RZ70 to Solman SLD, here there is a landscape sync jobs. It will pull the latest data from the SLD to LMDB. Then LMDB, there is a the upload job. There is a upload data upload job. So it will upload the data into in the service marketplace here in this location. It will update it here. At the same time, he may ask you, suppose in case of you don't have the in case of you don't have the solution manager system, right? In case of, so you don't have the solution manager system here. So in case, how we will do here? In case of you don't have the solution manager, so in this case, what is the step you will follow here? If the solution manager is not there, then the procedure is here in the in your system. In your system, you need to log into the so Saint transaction code. Then there is a here the dependency is, so if you want to do this procedure, the step number 2 procedure, in case of solution manager is not there. So here in case of solution manager is there not there, so what we have to do, spam and chain should be, it should be latest patch level. It should be in the spam and chain should be the latest patch levels. It should be up to date. Okay. Then we have to apply the customer license in S license transaction code. These two are the mandatory pre-steps for the to do this step here. The manual step here. Manual step means, so here what we have to do, we need to ECC system, log into the ECC system, then send transaction code. In the send transaction code, there is a utilities here. In the utilities file, we have to export the sysinfo.xml file from the system, then import into so service marketplace maintenance planner. So there is a button called the add system here we have to import it here. We have to import here. This is the way we have to do the all the steps here, right? Service marketplace, maintenance planner, add the systems here. These steps we have to perform it here. Okay, ECC, Saint, utilities, export. So when you will get the sysinfo.xml file means, when you have this option, normally by default it won't be enabled. So when you update the spam and Saint, that time this option you will get in the utilities option. So and also when you sometimes what happens, you applied the different customer license when you are importing to the your solution manager. Suppose like in the maintenance planner, it won't detect. So same customer have the same customer license, you have to apply it. Then only the system should be up to date in the service. System should be visible. System should be visible here. These are the common mistakes we may face it here. Suppose here license we applied for the different customer license we applied. Now you are in the another customer, you are trying to add your system into the maintenance planner, it won't be added. Why? Because the license is the different customer and you are adding into the different customer service marketplace you are adding. So that may be cause the your system will not be the visible status. So this is the one of the lesson learning which I faced in the previously in the starting of my career during the upgrades. That time we faced it out. So just to make sure whatever the customer license you applied here, same with same ID, you need to log into the service market. Same customer, you have to log into the service marketplace, maintenance planner, you need to add the systems here. That is the one of the thing you need to remember. Then after that, we know calculate, go to the plan option. You can generate the plan option. So you can just download the required patch levels and everything here, right? So once you've done it, you will download it using the download manager. You will download that, everybody can do. But only thing is, in case of system is not exist in the service marketplace, so what to do? That is the very important thing here. That is the very important, very important thing here, right? So here, the next one is called the right. So here next important thing is, once you download it, everything is done. So there are the some pre-steps here. So which means, so if any failed update records in the system, so we should clean up actually. We should reprocess or or clear it. That is the one thing here. And also, if any the failed MCEX queues, MCEX star queues, especially in the ECC. So same, we have to, should we reprocess or we have to clean up here, right? And also, if any inactive if any open repairs or open repairs or the locked objects in the transport, so better we have to release or unlock it here. Open repairs transports here. If any if any the inactive objects, if any inactive objects in the system in SEAT, normally you will find out this one, the SEAT. So inactive objects, so we have to activate it. We have to activate it by with the help of the functional team, or we have to inform them. So these are the mandatory preparation activities we have to so follow it here. Mandatory preparation activities, we need to check it out in the systems here. So why? Because as part of the some upgrade in the pre-processing step, it will do the all the work here. In the pre-processing step, it will do the all the work, like it will update the objects. If the objects are locked, then it will detect the errors. And also, if any inactive objects found, then that time it will say like the object is, the table is inactive, something like inactive, then that we may have to activate it here. So instead of avoiding these things during the upgrade itself, if you well performed in the pre-steps in the, so before you starting the sum tool, so then we may will not face the any more errors in the systems here, right? So apart from that, normally normal space checking, moving the patches, all those things are, it's okay. All those things are, so we can do it here. All those things are, so we can perform it here, right? So all those things, so we can perform it here, right? So that is the one thing we can say. And apart from that, while starting the sum tool, so sum tool starting, you need to remember is here which user and what the commands here. You need to extract it anything, fine, but while starting the sum tool, you need to use the root user. With root user, you need to start the sum tool like dot slash. You have to go to the some abap folder. Then you need to execute the SAP. So SAP some start space, the config host agent, then SID you have to give it here. So why? Because some tool we are starting and we are registering into the host agent and with SID. So which means you need to use the root user. Sir, why we have to use the root user means, so there is a config host agent you are giving, here. So definitely we need to use this some screens, definitely we have to use the so root user. Why? Because host agent will run with the root user. So definitely you need to use it. Normally people will make mistake like, so they will use the SAP start, then they will start the sum tool. Then when they are opening the URL, they won't get the sum screen. They won't get the sum screen. So normally this is one of the issue we may face it here. So you started the sum tool, but when you are trying to open the URL in the browser, you are not getting the sum screen here. What could be the possible reasons? Like that, they may ask you. In that case, so we may have incorrectly started the sum tool, or maybe some issues with the host agent, or maybe some issues with the host agent patch level. Either these three, any one of these three can cause the you are not getting the some prompt, some screen prompt you are not getting. So if you correctly follow the order, you won't face any issues here, right? So that is the one. Once you start the sum tool, then open the URL in the browser. From here, it will ask in the browser level, you have to give the SID ADM user and the password you have to set it out. So starting the sum tool, you need to start with the root user or administrator user. But here, while giving the browser, while logging to the sum screen, then you need to use this one. If you correctly use it, we will not face any issues. Then even though you are facing the some issues means, then you need to, which logs we need to check it out here, right? So you need to go to the CD, USR, SAP, the host control. There is a work directory here. Then you can just dev underscore, then SAP, the host agent, there is a trace file. Open the trace file, and you can see the sum related all the errors here. Sum related all the errors here. Okay. In case of you want to check the here in the host agent log file, we can find out here. Sorry, if the sum tool related errors, we can find out in the CD, USR, SAP, SID, sum ABAP log folder, right? But now you are saying the different host agent folder means this is the some starting related issues we can find out here. Some starting related issues here. Why? Because once the sum started, the sum ABAP log folder will be updated. Here, sum is not started even. You are not able to log into the sum school, then how can you check the logs? Won't check the logs here. So then in this case, you have to open it here, right? So once this is completed, then we will get the sum screen. In the sum screen here, we have the phases like in the sum screen, you will get the first of all, it will ask the the scenario strategy here. Scenario means here standard scenario, advanced, then single. There are three scenario modes are available in the sum tool here. Standard. Here in SAP some upgrades, there is a shadow system concept here. There is a shadow system concept. Here. In the shadow system concept, just 1 minute. I Okay. So in the shadow system concept, what will happen in the shadow system concept? So some upgrades will happen in the shadow system concept here. SAP introduced this concept in the sum tool here. Instead of directly doing our upgrade work in the main system, there is a shadow concept here, which means there is a backup of your main system will be created. In that location, it will be updated so that once in the pre-processing base, this will happen. I will explain it. Then after that, the data will be moved to your shadow to the main system here. So there is scenario selection. If you choose the standard or advanced, then some will create the shadow concept here. Single means direct attack, which means non-production systems, maybe sandbox or non-production systems, it may be development, it may be preferred to choose the single when we don't have the enough capacity here. But standard and advanced, maybe regression, and production systems, these options are enough to minimize the downtime. We can choose the standard and advanced. Why? Because in these two phases, SAP some tool will create the shadow concept here, so that the main system is available till that phase. We can go with that one here, right? So that is the one here. So once you select it, any one of the page, shadow will be created, either standard one. Then immediately it will ask the user IDs and password prompt here, right? Then once you enter the user ID password prompt, then here we have the some phases like here. So extraction phase here. Extraction. So configuration phase, then so checks phase here, then so pre-processing here, then execution, then so post processing here. So then so here, yeah, these are the 6 roadmap steps will come into the picture here. So in the each and every step, if I go with the extraction phase here, in the extraction phase, what exactly happens in the extraction phase here? So the sum tool here, the sum tool will extract is first of all it will validate the XML file. It will validate the XML file components and also your system status component. It will validate it here, whether both are matching or not. Then only it will go to the some extraction, some scanning the sum and some EPSO. Say, this phases will happen. What does it means? So in the extraction phase, the basically some validate the XML file which you calculated as part of the pre-steps and also your system status component, it will extract it. It will extract it here. Once the extraction is done, it will extract it. Then once the extraction, it will extract it, then it will scan it, then it will extract. So it will first of all it will scan it, then it will extract the files into files into EPS in directory, which is there in the trans. It will extract the files into the EPS. These are the 3 main activities: validating the XML file, scanning the sum directory, then extracting the your patches into the EPS in directory with the name of .ett .pat files will be extracted. Means your SAR files will be extracted and it will be placed into the EPS in directory. These are the main important thing will happen in the extraction phase. Okay, the interviewer will ask the 3 main things here. If you tell all those stories, okay, that is fine. But many things also we can tell. But these are the actual things happen in the extraction phase here, right? Then immediately once the extraction is completed, then you can go to the configuration phase. Entire your upgrade will depend on this configuration phase steps here, whatever the options you choose. So whatever the things you are choosing here, entire your upgrade will go on the whatever the inputs you are giving here, the configuration it will go. Here the main step which we have to concentrate are, which everybody in the interview point of time, they may ask you a little bit deep on the configuration steps here, right? So here, what are the inputs here? We have to give it here. What are the inputs we have to give it here? So there is a configuration step, the screen, the parameters for the some procedure here, the parameters for the some procedures here. So parameters procedure for the some procedure here. Here we need to carefully give the options here. We have to give the some options here. Here some will ask the questions like, so can you provide the parameters, uptime how many parameters, downtime how many parameters? So all those things it will ask us like above process. The first it will ask the above process, uptime and downtime how many. Then the next one is called the SQL process. It will help it. Then the third one is called the once SQL process is completed, then R3 trans process. The fourth one is called the R3 load process here, R3 load process here. So here the 4 options, it will ask it here. We are each and everything, uptime how many process, downtime how many process, we need to choose it here. Uptime how many process, downtime how many process. So here the process things will depend on the process screens will depend on your number of CPUs and cores, your number of CPUs here, right? There is a thumb rule from the SAP. We need to follow for the this process here. There is a thumb rule here. So it is a pretty straightforward actually. Here for above process, it is a straightforward answer here. Configuring the background process in the main system. So normally uptime how many process? Suppose downtime, how many process, so we can choose it here. It depends upon the how many background process you have in the SM50, we can choose it here. Maybe we can so left for the some of the background process, we can left for the, suppose you have the 10, so 8 we can configure it, 2 we can left it for the, we can the normal background operations, we can left it, remaining 8 we can use it for the, so this one we can use it 8 for uptime, and downtime is a 1 by 2 of the main process here. So means 1 into 1 by 2. So main we can configure the more in the downtime here, right? Why? Because in the downtime phase we will log the jobs and everything, right? That time the remaining 2 also free, we can configure it here. It's a straightforward actually. So it is straightforward. How many? The calculation will come from will come from so number of your BTC work process which is there in the your application server. Normally, if you have the multiple application server, sometimes they may ask you, you have the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 application servers, then where you will run the sum tool, where you will run the sum tool here. So where you will run the sum tool here. You have the so where you will run the sum tool here. Here in the primary application server, we have to run the sum tool here. Sir, what happens if I run it in the so normal application server also here? We can run it. Problem nothing is there, but there is a parameter you need to change it here. There is a in the default or instance profile, there is a parameter. Why? Because when you are starting the sum tool, sum will create the one parameter file entry in the instance profile. So based on that, it will get the access to the your USR SAP trans directory, some other folders. It will get the access here, A11 access. So that if you start in the application server, then there is no access to the your A11 directory or in the trans directory. What will happen? So some will fail. So always the recommendation is from the to start the sum tool from the start the sum tool in the primary application server. In the primary application server, we need to start the sum tool here. Okay. So for our primary application server, we need to start the sum tool here. Okay. That is the one of the thing we need to choose it here. That is one of the thing we need to choose it here. Okay. So, and also above process means here we are only choosing the not all the application servers here. If you choose the all the application servers, then there is an impact. So we have to choose only primary application server. We have to consider only primary application server only here. So sometimes what happens, we can select the so all system decide the number of batch jobs means, so that time we may face this slightly issues. In that case, what we have to do, the trans directory or the AL11 SAP MMT folder should be mounted in the other application servers as well. It should be accessible. We have to set the parameter in the all the application servers. We have to do it as a pre-work, right? So otherwise, it's a pre-steps preparation steps, right? Better to do it in the so in the primary application server. We can isolate the primary application server without impacting your production other application servers. Then we can do this work also possible. Means many ways we can avoid the performance issues on the production servers here, right? So these jobs will come from the so number of BTC work process, how many. But this is the very important here, SQL process here, right? SQL process here. So this part we have to here. So there is a SQL process here. Here we need to check the number of CPUs here. Number of the count will come from the number of CPUs here. Here the number of CPUs, how many are there? Why? Because it's a SQL process. So DB SQL process. So in the database side, number of SQLs will be executed in parallel. So the core concept is same here. Here, the more CPUs will help the quickly finish the issues. But thing is here, it will maybe it will calculate the so number of CPUs. How many number of CPUs? So we can calculate it. Here it's like a so 1 or 2, 1 into or 2 into number of DB. Suppose it's a like a the calculation is I think 3 into sorry 3 into the number of CPUs. 3 into number of CPUs we have to calculate. Your CPUs are 8, then 3 into 8, 24, and So like that, we have to calculate the process here. 3 into number of CPUs, like that we have to calculate it here, right? So if a CPUs are means into 3 into number of CPUs or 3 to 5 times, but 3 into number of CPUs is will give the good number without impacting the current things and everything. It's a multiple term, so triple times of the your number of CPUs. It's a, there is no multiple means there is no impact on the so system performance and there is no negative impact on this one here, right? So that is the one. So here, what will happen? So this SQL process, so uptime number of CPUs and downtime 1 into number of uptime number 1 into means half by 2 of. Suppose like I can put this way. Suppose you configure the 8 CPUs here, 8 process you configured, right? Then a downtime process here, so 8 plus 8 into 8 plus and 8 by 2. Like that, we need to calculate it half by 2. So 1 plus 1 by 2, which means 8 plus 4. So means 12 process downtime we can configure it here. 12 process we can calculate it here. 1 into 1, 1.5 more, 1.5 more we can calculate it here. Means downtime, the 4 will be reduced, right? Downtime, we have the all systems will be down. So CPUs will be free. So that's the reason. So 1. So 3 into number of CPUs, 8 comes, right? Then here 8 plus 8 by 2. So means 12 will come into the picture here. That's SQL number of process here. 12 into this process will come into the picture here, right? So there is a note also from SAP. There is a note also from SAP. So how to calculate it, how to calculate this process and everything here. Same as like R3 trans also, same as like your SQL process here. 3 into 3 or 5 times of your number of CPUs. So 3 into 5 times of your number of CPU, we can calculate it R3 load, R3 trans also here. So here, this is also same as like here. So R3 load also same as like 3 to 5 times of number of CPUs here. So this 3 we have to comes as a 3 into. There I have one video in my channel. So if you see that video, I have clearly the note number and also I have clearly explained for each and every process what is the process we have to take it out and all the information. So I have taken here, right? So here R3 load, R3 load will play only exporting and importing the data here. So the thumb rule is here to use the 3 times of available CPUs here. How many available CPUs? We can use the 3 times of the CPUs here, right? So standard mode. So we can use like here either depends upon your process and system behavior. We can use the 3 or 5 times of your number of CPUs, we have to use it for this process here. So later, so suppose system still free, then we can adjust it in online itself. We can adjust it here. Once you cross this step, so we can adjust it. If you go to the some utilities, we can adjust these things. We can adjust these things. We can adjust it here, right? So this is the things here. Minimum 3, maximum 5, 3 to 5 times of number of CPU cores we can adjust it here. If you observe there is a slight impact on the your system behavior and performance, better to decrease it. That's it. Then restart the host agent. Normally it will impact dynamically without any restarts. Just it will impact it here, right? The latest some versions it will impact dynamically here. Same as like so here. This 3 based upon the number of CPUs will come into the picture here. Okay. So this is the major thing which we have to consider in the configuration phase. Also, don't select the SGen. Don't select. Normally, if you select the SGen, it may take the multiple hours to run it here. Uptime activities here. It will run multiple things here. So don't select the SGen. So SGen we can select. So don't select SGen. We can run it in the after the upgrade completed. We can run the SGen procedure, we can run it here. SGen procedure, we can run it here. Okay. So here, then we can choose the spam, SPDD. Now, next phase is like SPDD or SPAU. You have to give it. We can give it. This is the first system. You no need to select it here. Any CTS plus transports, you can select it here. And If you have already selected, if you have already there, if you already first system you have done it, then developers generated the SPDD and SPAU, then you can give the SPAU transport and SPDD transports, or if any nodes related transport, you can give it. There is a file actually in the trans directory, I think there is a umod, u mod lst, there is something umod.lst, there is a file in that umod auth something, there is a file here. So in this file, so we can add this transport request will be added automatically here in this file. In the trans directory, umod.lst files will be added automatically here. We can switch off the log, we can turn on the archiving, means the archive on procedure, and also disable the SGen, SPDD, SPAU transports, CPS, CDS plus transport. Some other screens will come. Just you can choose it. Just click on the next button. Then it will go to the checks phase here. In the checks phase, here mainly it will check the application server level free space and also DB level free space. And one more important thing, it check the any missing nodes. It will check it out, cross check it out, any missing nodes are there or not. Then it will check it out. Then from here, if you don't perform the in the checks phase, if you don't perform the this pre checks here, the MCX queues, field updates, the queues purging and everything in this phase, end of this phase, like end of the checks phase, it starting of the pre-processing, it will pop up. It will pop up saying that, so you have the open SPDD, SPAU items, open field update request. So all those things it will pop up. Then here in this case we need to take the action here, right? In this case we have to take the action here. Here up to here we can run it. So super, yeah, without any issues, fastly we can run it here. So from here onwards, it may take the very longer duration. It may take the very longer duration from pre-processing onwards here. So what exactly happens from pre-processing onwards here? So here I will explain it here clearly. So you can see I will draw the one diagram. So normally you can understand easily what exactly happens. So by doing this one, you can explain clearly what exactly, if any questions asked in the sum, so you can clearly answer it here. So this is the your host. Suppose example, this is your host. In this host, so you have the SAP system here. This is your SAP system. So here all the, this is the DB here. This is the your database here. This is the SAP system. This is the database here. In SAP means you have the, so you have the kernel, means it's a main original system kernel. Original system kernel. SAP will run on the kernel, right? That's why I mentioned here. So from here, so this is the repository. The database contains the repository and the DB level tables here. Repository and the DB level tables here. Repository. So repository and the which repository? Original repository, right? Application tables. Normal application. So tables are here. Application tables are here in this case here, right? So now what exactly happens? So one day you planned for the upgrade, then you have chosen the sum tool here. You have chosen the sum tool here. So this is a sum tool. Then this is the host agent. Then so you started the sum tool. Sum it's connected to the host agent. Let me write it here. Sum tool it's connected to the so host agent. Why? Because we cannot directly touch the SAP system here. Some will not directly contact the SAP here. Some tool will connect to the so your SAP system here. So some tool directly will not connect to the directly via host agent only. It will connect it here. So that's the reason host agent is the very important during the starting of the sum procedure here. So then obviously we have the SAP that will connect to the your database repository. So that's fine here. So you started the sum tool that is running fine. Then you have completed the extraction phase fine and a configuration phase fine and checks phase fine. So one more thing is here in the configuration phase itself, or configure whatever the scenario you have chosen, right? Either you need a shadow system or everything, it will start copying the kernel to above exe, some above exe. That is one of the important point here. So which you need to take care is, so whenever in the configuration phase itself, what will happen? So our configuration phase or end of the seek processing, there is a kernel, right? Normally in the some directory kernel also will be copied here. So that kernels will be copied to the some above exe folder. It will be copied based upon your scenario selection. It will copy the kernels to the your shadow system build purpose. It will copy the kernel to the, it will copy the kernel to the your, so some above exe folder, some above exe folder. It will copy the kernels here. Okay, so here some above exe, it will copy the files here. So then, so once copying done, everything that is for the shadow system build activity. That is for the shadow system build activities here. Here, now you chosen the, you need a shadow system, then starting up the pre-processing onwards, for it will start building the, it will sorry, it will start creating the one shadow instance here. One shadow instance it will be created here. This is the shadow here. This is the shadow here. Here I can write like a SHD kernel. Where this kernel is exist? Above exe, some above exe. Where the profile exists? Some above system, the profiles, right? Same copy of the system here. Here also, what will happen here? It will create the shadow repository also here. Shadow repository also will be created here, right? This shadow repo, this all things will happen repository. I can say shadow repository will be created. So this will happen in the configuration phase, shadow kernel preparations, shadow repository creations, cloning the tables. You will get the some phases, right? So here it will happen here. So then when it is starting the cloning the tables here, the some tool will say, do you please log the your development system, right? Development system means this repository will be locked here. Why? Because the data should be copied from original repository to the shadow repository. The shadow repository here. So in this case, what happens here? The data will be copied from here to here. While copying, your original repository will be locked. That's why in the sum screen, in the pre-processing step, we will get the one option like, do you want to lock the your development system developments here? We will stop the developments here. Till then, developers can work on that one, but there is no impact on the business users. Business users can log into the your original system. They can start working on that one until end of the pre-processing step. In the pre-processing step, your development workbench will be locked here. Why? Because here some tool created, shadow system is created, but there is no data here. So that is the purpose. What will happen here? That is the purpose. What will happen here? So that is the purpose. What will happen here? The data will be here. It will lock the development system. Then the cloning jobs will be happen. The cloning jobs will copy the tables from original repository to, so your shadow repository. It will copy the data from here to here. Everything is okay. Why? Because if data is copying, then shadow will be started here in the pre-processing step. Shadow will be up, the sum will switch, some in this case sum will switch to the here, in this case sum will switch to the your shadow system. Then your shadow will be upgraded here, whatever there in the downloaded packages here. So all the downloaded packages which we downloaded, everything will be upgraded into the your in the shadow repository side. So up to some level here, from here to here it is fine. Up to some level here to here it is fine. Then from here to here, then the new patches which are there in the download directory, that patches will be uploaded into the your repository. So this is a very crucial phase here. Here it should be uploaded. While uploading here, something is there any inactive objects or something objects are locked, then again your system will be unlocked. Then it will ask us to perform it here. So that's why as part of the preparations, as I mentioned here, clearly we need to so check the any open requests or locked objects or any inactive objects. We need to clear it all those things here, right? So then we can So once it is copying the data copied, the shadow system will be upgraded. The high level activities which will perform in the here in the pre-processing, shadow will be started, shadow will be upgraded. Once the shadow will be upgraded, so then this is a upgraded system. The shadow is upgraded in the pre-processing. So then it will ask us to perform the SPAU, SPAU. So then here we need to log in, sorry, SPDD. We need to log into the 000 in the shadow. We need to log into the 000 shadow system. So then here we need to perform the shadow system. Then SPDD activities. Why? Because data dictionary objects here. Data dictionary objects we need to perform it here. Data dictionary objects. So data dictionary objects, we need to perform it here. SPDD and SPDD we have to perform in the shadow system. SPDD. So we have to perform in the shadow system here. These are the transaction codes here. Modification, adjustments here. Modification, adjustments here. Data dictionary. So data dictionary. So why? Because data dictionary objects, it will be like contains the some screens, programs, reports, so functional modules, so some objects here. If any customer related objects here, that will be overridden, by the your changes here. That's why after the shadow system is upgraded, everything is done, then so you will get the phase like please perform the SPDD activities here. Please perform the SPDD activities here in the system here. Here we need to involve our developers to perform the SPDD adjustments here. SPDD adjustments here. The functional and above adjustments we need to perform it here. Right? In the shadow system. Make sure this has to be performed in the shadow system. Then you need to create the user in the 000 client, SPDD. Then you can once adjustment is done. So then we need to release the TR, not we. They will release the TR, not the main task, not the main task here, right? Data dictionary. So data dictionary means data elements, tables, structures of the latest system. So all those things will come into the pictures here. All those things will come into the picture here. They have to do the adjustments here. So once they have done the adjustments, then when you click on the next button, system will ask us to take the backup of the sum tool. All those things we will take it out. Then backup we have to trigger it. Then once you've done it, then what will happen? So the main SAP system, will be stopped here. The main SAP system will be stopped here. Why? Because this is upgraded. Everything is done. Now the data as shadow repository to the main repository, the reverse copy will happen here. While reverse copy is happening, your SAP should not be up and running here. Why? Because SAP is up means it always use the programs. So screens, all everything will use it here. So here we need to data will be reverse back to the why because this is upgraded one. So it will reverse back, and also while reverse backing here, your system should not be up here. So your here SAP will be stopped here. Then application tables will be converted. Here first data will be copied. Then application tables will be converted. Then this main things will happen here in the here. Then slowly so the execution phase means is called the downtime phase here. Your main SAP system will be stopped here. Main SAP system will be stopped here. So then the main SAP system will be stopped here. Then data copy will happen from repository, shadow repository to the main repository, and application tables will be so updated here, right? So that is the one, right? Then in the post processing, it will ask us to perform the SP SPOW activities. SPOW is means here we have the 14 days time, so there is no issues. Then 14 days time, within the 0 to 14 days time after the upgrade, you can perform the repository changes on the main system. The main system we can perform it here. So SPOW means here the SPOW activities. Means SPDD means I can say I can name it some of the like tables, data elements, domains, views. These all are called the so SPDD. That rest of the objects, rest of the modified repository objects are called the SPOW. SPAU. Rest of the objects are called the SPAU here, right? These objects, repository objects, data dictionary objects here. So this one we have to perform in the during the shadow system. At the end of the system is going to down. End of the pre-processing, we have to do it in the this activity in the shadow system here, 000 client. In the main system, we have to do it in the this activities. We have the 14 days time here. Here and here, they may ask you the differences here. So when we have to perform the SPDD, when we have to perform the SPAU. So here, while performing the SPDD, do you need to release the transport request or what will happen? No need to release the transport request. Why? Because subtask we have to release it here. So here, definitely we will release it in the main system. But when you are doing the, so here system should be up and running. Then what will happen in the during the execution phase? There is a downtime phase. Your main system will be stopped. The shadow repository data will be copied to the main repository. Then application tables will be upgraded here. So that will happen in the main system here. Slowly, your shadow will be also will be deleted in the post processing step. Finally, system is available for the so your main things here. System is available for the so main things here, right? So that is the main thing we have to perform it here. After the completion of the SPDD only, we need to perform the SPAU. SPAU, we have to perform it here, right? So here, programs, screens, functions, classes will comes under the SPAU. SPDD means so tables, data elements, domains, weaves, all will comes under the so DD data dictionary here. So these are the things will comes under here. This is the entire some procedure will happen from starting of the main phases are here. Here pre-processing and pre-processing and execution phase are the main things here. Main things here. So remaining all are the normal things. The main things what will happen in each and every phase. This is a very important. Issues wise. So issues wise, sometimes what happens, inactive objects or tables are unlocked. We may face the issues here. Again, we need to log into the shadow system. You have to activate the objects. So because everything in the shadow system only, we need to log into the shadow system, then go to the SE14, activate the tables. So generate it, again reprocess it, so retry it. So all the activities we have to perform it here. This is the so main things will happen here. Sometimes in the original system also, while copying the data, it will happen. So that time, so we may have to database level might be, we may have to delete the duplicate index, invalid index, all those things we may have to do it here, right? So these are the major items. So we may face it here. So if you perform these activities, so we can answer. Like suppose, like example, maybe they may ask you pre-processing and execution steps. Also, like SPDD, SPAU activities. So yeah, these are the things they may ask you. Shadow system preparations, where exactly the shadow will be created. Some ABAP, EXE, some ABAP system, and everything it will be happening here. So this will happen in the some procedures here, right? So this is the some upgrade procedures and steps will happen. If you know this procedure, interviewer will ask any question, then you can answer it here. What exactly happens each and every phase. So we can get why, because in the half an hour discussion, so if you explain all the points, then it will be 1 hour, 1 hour time it will take it out. So that's why so Cripsy, and maybe they may ask you the few questions, they may concentrate what happens in the pre-processing, what happens in the execution, so where the shadow will be created, what is the use of the shadow system, and so SPDD, SPAU, sum is not starting. So how to identify the process in the sum tool, what is the number you have to give it 3 to 5 times of the your number of CPUs here, how to improve the performance by increasing the parallel processing. So how to improve it by isolating the primary application server from the others, the jobs it won't run. You can increase the number of process in the primary application servers. So the backups is very important. If you remember all those things, definitely we can answer for all the questions here, right? So that is for some upgrades. Any questions, anyone? Anything to add?
Ravi, can we do this on a practical basis as well? Or like
Yeah.
we...
This is an interview session, right? Yeah, we can do it with practical also. For other batches in my training batches, we are doing with all these practicals only.
Okay, okay.
This is only normal discussion to understand